Hello, this is Bratt from Eurogamer, and it's been a pretty good BlizzCon for World of Warcraft, hasn't it? And really the big thing here is that unlike with Warlords of Draenor, WoW is now receiving big, substantial patches on a regular basis. I chatted with someone from the team, Goss, the lead game designer, about why this is, and in his mind, what the big differences between these two expansions really are. Yeah, it's been a pretty good couple of days for you. The panel yesterday went down extremely well. I don't know if you noticed.
Yeah, I was sitting in the back. It was awesome.
Yeah,
a lot of good reactions.
Absolutely. I think a huge part of that is just looking at the major patches. The amount of content, like both the quality and the quantity of it, is like nothing we saw with Warlords of Draenor. Basically, what's changed internally to allow that to happen?
I think we saw with Warlords, like whenever we saw a long distance between content, players were just unhappy, and we wanted to overcome that. So a lot of it is just the team getting smarter about building content. We have procedures in place. We can make things faster.
Yep.
We have a little bit of a bigger team than we had before. We scaled up during Warlords, and those guys have actually leveled up to a point where they're just pouring out content.
Did you say that they leveled up?
They did.
You are such a World of Warcraft.
I know. It's an RPG through and through. But they're the whole team levels up. We learn from our mistakes. We really focus in on what we think the game needs. And I think that's the first half. The second half is everybody's really excited about the Legion story. And we had this moment of coming together. In order to tell all of these pieces and for the story to play out, we have to actually get the story in front of players in a decent cadence with also a lot of content in it. So that was those two halves together made it work.
Sure. Presumably something has to give there, though. I remember speaking to Tom Chilton at Gamescom, and he suggested that maybe the time between expansions is going to be a little bit longer to allow the teams to kind of reach major patch content more frequently.
I think we always look at earlier, getting content into players' hands earlier is better, and we balance that against how much we want to put in there, and also the quality bar. We don't want to skimp on either one of those things. So it's something we look at for. We don't know yet whether it will impact expansions. I think that's something that we have a plan. We're pushing towards a plan and really trying to get the content out earlier, plus trying to make sure that even when we do a new expansion, that it's not a huge drought. We had a long drought between Warlords and Legion, and we want to just make sure that doesn't happen.
Sure. Internally, how does the team talk about Warlords of Draenor? Was it seen as a misstep in regards to quantity of major updates?
In terms of, so I think we look at it as we look at everything. Everything's a learning opportunity for us. I think we're very proud of a lot of things in Warlords. I think the quality bar for raids, what we did with classes, kind of a preemptive look at what we ended up doing for classes in Legion.
Sure.
We had a lot of successes. We wish, going back, we recognized that we didn't have as much content, and we didn't actually get to tell the full story of Warlords that we did. And when we looked at Legion, we said that's an issue that we look at, want to improve upon, and I think so far we have. Karazhan coming out pretty much, I think it was about 8 weeks right after Legion launched, with content that I think the biggest complaint so far I've heard is I already have so much to do. Can we just have a moment? But at the same time, there's people who, as soon as that content came out, that was what they did. They needed something new to have. So. And
obviously 7.2 sounds just as substantial, if not more so.
Yes.
Is this something that the team can sustain past that? Obviously, we heard mention of August at the end of the panel, can this level of quality and quantity, can you expect that from start to finish in expansion, or is that actually a little bit unreasonable?
I think it's reasonable.
Okay.
I can't, clearly we haven't done it yet, and I wouldn't say that we can until we have, but I think it is reasonable, and I think it's really about picking the right things, making sure that we're focusing in on the right pieces of content, telling the right stories, not getting too we kind of split off the patches into those two separate patches. We have a large patch, which is continuing the story, and then these smaller patches, which are more, system updates, some ways to address what we're seeing on live, and also add some things that don't actually fit into that patch cycle, that tell different stories, or tell crazy stories like Boat Day, where you get to go and hang out on a boat like that. That kind of breaks it up for the team too, and it lets us, we don't have to worry about cramming as much into content patches, which can delay them in the past. So it's a good cadence, I think, for what we're going to do.
Have you guys been following the reaction since yesterday, and is there anything that you want to sort of follow up on? Like immediately when you make announcements like this, there's
Yes.
a million small questions, like there's class specific mounts, but is that going to be split into different specs? Like, is there anything that jumps out at you that you want to kind of?
I think.
Clarify.
Yeah,
sure.
I think for the most part, we always look at feedback. We always adjust. That's the Blizzard way, right? We see a lot of feedback about specific amounts. We'll take a look at it. We'll see what we can do. I think the one thing I would want to clarify is there was a little bit of confusion around whether Argus was now, whether it was in the future, and I think that is a Legion thing. That's not actually next expansion.
Right.
So that you'll see that in what we're calling 7.3.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Awesome. So it's definitely 7.3. Yeah. Like that sounds. August sounds like a. I should actually point out. August in the UK is like the name, very close to the name of like a catalogue retailer. So
really?
The heroes of like World of Warcraft going to August sounds weird in my head.
Sure, yeah. Well, it's
but yeah, obviously it's the home world of the Eridar. Like it's a huge thing for World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Obviously you're not going to go too much into detail here, but can you give me some idea of what that's going to look like in game? Like that must be a subcontinent, right? Or
I have to wait and see. I can't share too much. I will say one of the shots that you saw yesterday was in game.
Okay, cool.
Which I don't know if we've said before, but
so that's it. And yeah, before I forget, I did also ask about legacy servers, but unsurprisingly, given what Blizzard had said before BlizzCon itself, we didn't get much of a response there. Can you give me any sense as to what the team is thinking of regards to that? Because it was 275,000 people signed a petition. It is a big deal for the community.
Yeah, I don't have an update at this time. I think this is, I can say that it's still a discussion we have, but there's nothing to share yet.
Okay, but it's still an ongoing thing. It hasn't been settled.
It has not been settled. Yeah,
okay.
Something we talk about. So.
Listen, the important thing is that I tried. Thanks for watching, and make sure to check out some of the other stuff I've been up to at BlizzCon, including hands-on with Overwatch's newest hero, Sombra. Cheers. See you next time.